Hi, and welcome to BrokerTools, where we unpack the tools, systems, and strategies that help brokers optimize the way they work. I'm Katie, your host, and today we are discussing AI in your software. In this chat, we are joined by my digital companion, Gamma. Gamma is my favorite tool to use to generate presentations using AI. If you have been following along, you will notice that with this podcast, we have spoken to a lot of humans. We have spoken on the topics of lead generation, mindset, team development, and systems. And the most common topic that we often discuss is AI and how brokers can use it in their business. As a CRM designer and AI automation specialist, I thought it would be good to do a walkthrough on what AI is or isn't, so that when you go about assessing it and how to use it in your own business, you get a clear idea of what to expect from your software or services. So to begin, I want to be clear. I am not going through this whole presentation page by page. You can get this presentation from the website, navigate it yourself, and make a discussion with your team about what and how you may ultimately use AI in your business. For me, in what I'm trying to do here at BrokerTools is really help brokers, generally speaking, optimize the way they work. And AI, generally speaking, can be confusing, especially when some people are using what we would call AI automations as part of the AI conversation, when really it's not what we would call true AI. So to explain the difference within the industry of what would be considered true AI versus an automation using AI, it's the distinctive factor of whether or not this system, this tool, this process can make intelligent decisions, assessments, thoughts on your behalf, and make suggestions for you. So often AI, for example, might be able to take a document, summarize it, and come back with information for you. That is AI being able to read it, use some type of intelligence to decide this is the summary of that particular document. An AI automation, or an automation using AI rather, is a lot more rule-based. So you as the human have to set the definitions and the requirements for this system or process to use AI within it. For example, one of the things I commonly set up for a client is a way to make a presentation. And most times it's, generally speaking, an automation. And by that, what I mean is you'll have a pipeline. It'll have all the stages within it. Usually you will have had a discovery call. By the next stage, it's create a presentation. And so when you move an opportunity or a deal into this stage called create a presentation, it has a trigger notification to do a set of tasks on your behalf. As an automation specialist, I usually set it up on behalf of my clients. I say, if this stage is hit, do this next action. And usually that next action is get the template from OneDrive. That's your presentation document. It's a template. It's easy to do. Next, get the name, best interest duty from the CRM and add it to this document. That's just a simple, straight up automation. From here, you can get save the document, label the document, set the rules for how that document is labeled and named, and then get the URL, the page link for that document, and then take that link and put it back into your CRM so that whole process is linked together. The next part of that same automation could be move it into the next stage to say review presentation. That's a whole automation. I've set the rules, I've set the triggers, I've set it in motion so that the system can make the decision to do it based on what I've said. That is just a straight up automation. Where it can be in automation with AI is using that same scenario where a stage has hit create a presentation. It still kind of goes through the same steps as the automation, but there's one extra step in that I can get the best interest duty, for example, from the CRM, feed it through ChatGPT, Claude, whatever tool you want to use, and ask it to rewrite this best interest duty and then recraft it and then put it into the presentation. So but that is an AI inside an automation. Another way someone may use what we call an AI in an automation is often what we call OCR. So OCRs scan a document and read it. And they do what we call pattern recognition. Most documents have a style to it. The way they are laid out is kind of like, pre-formatted. So often, for example, driver's license. A driver's license number usually sits in the same spot all the time. That is it, using, I guess, some AI intelligence to scan and predictively say, hey, this is where a driver's license number is. The part that is the automation is extract that number from this place that we've told you to find it and put it, for example, in my CRM. That way, when you need to use it to, say, do an Equifax soft hit, you can take that and validate that that's a valid driver's license. That's, again, sets of rules using an AI automated process to do it, because the system has been able to use AI to distinguish that this document is a driver's license. It's been able to say, this is where the driver's license is. And then the automation says, these are the rules I want you to follow next. Using that same process, we can then start doing some intelligent stuff. And you'll find with most CRMs or most systems that are currently in the market for you as a broker, they're not this whole sophisticated workflow that I've got here. Most of them are getting there. I think it's FE, and if you're an enterprise solution, then Data Exchange with Docs AI can do this whole process for you. I know that Lend is probably on the way to having this type of thing in place, but it's this part where you can scan a document, distinguish what it is, pull out particular fields, redact data. So for example, you don't want to have tax file numbers. You can redact that information out of that document. You can actually read and scan the document to see if that document has any fraud detection capabilities within it. So what's that fraud detection? It's like you're noticing that that logo on that document, say a payslip, it looks like it's copied and pasted there. Like there's just like a little kind of frame around the logo that normally wouldn't be there if it was a genuine document. And it can then, flag those documents and say, hey, this document looks, 56% authentic, or whatever the ratio is based on the different markers that have been identified as fraudulent. And then again, you can have this all fed back into your CRM to again make your own determination whether or not this document is genuine, or you have to redo that whole document. When you are looking for, I guess, AI within your software, right now I'm just talking about process workflows and simple AI. The other way intelligent AI can work, which I didn't really put in this presentation, is lender policy. I was talking to Jack just a moment ago, and the way he does it is he runs his scenario with, I think, ChatGPT, or what was it? Grok. Actually, I think it's Grok. And he puts in the whole scenario inside of there and goes, this is what I'm looking for. Please recommend me some lenders. And boom, out comes an outcome. That's, what we call intelligent AI, optimizing the way you work so that you can decide what to do next. Automations obviously can help feed that information, but you don't have to use automations everywhere. I'm just trying to help you categorize the difference between true AI and automation and automation using AI. Because when it comes to, other areas of your business, so we've really covered right now your workflow automation and how to streamline that using AI. And there are many softwares out there. I think probably FE would be the closest to having the most AI enablement within their software compared to others. And when you have a look at it, you have to decide for yourself, what kind of intelligence do I need to get started? I've looked at things like the HubSpot system, And they've got a really great, way of having calls come through their CRM system, and you can do a call summary and you can log it against a opportunity or a deal. And by doing that, it means that you're building out this source of truth, this back data, I guess, of information that should you meet up with this client 3 years from now because they're ready to buy another investment property, you've got that intelligence, you've got that history, and then you can do an inquiry and say, based on the last purchase, what has happened, and it can come back and give you a conversation as to what happened, what would be a great opportunity for them, and ultimately, that's how you can start to really use the intelligence side of AI within your business. Where am I? Oh, that's right. Sorry. Trying to think of the best way to address AI chat, generative AI, and AI agents. I'm going to go talk about AI agents first, and then I'll talk about the other two, because I feel like AI chat and generative AI is more closely aligned to what I would call the marketing side of your business, rather than the automations and the systems and the management flow. Whereas AI agents can help you with the business operational side and management flow. So when you think about an agent, what it does is it takes your job description or rules for them as a person to execute on this particular role. I find that a software like Financeable, which is really just a loan origination software for people in the finance and commercial industry, they kind of demonstrate how they use this really well. And that is, it's almost a way of doing copy and paste for your loan submission. So it reads into your CRM the particular fields that you have assigned to this job for your AI agent to grab the data from and submit over in your lender's portal. It can log into the portal for you. It can take that information and it can copy and paste it in there for you. It kind of just really reduces all of that type of physical activity tasks that an admin person will do, and it does it quite fast and in no time at all. AI agents, especially in this particular industry of mortgage broking, commercial asset finance, always need a human in the loop to verify and check that the work is done correctly. And so ultimately, agents act like task workers within your business. You give it a set of rules, but it can intelligently decide what to do within your business and on your behalf. And it usually can do that within your CRM as well. Now I'm trying to think of how best to talk about AI chats and generative AI. What I have found works with most of the people that I tend to consult to is I like building out knowledge bases in their website. So these are like frequently asked questions. These are common kinds of pieces of data that particular industry or niche would need to know about to get their answers. So for example, I have a client who does a lot of low doc, management. And so we built out a whole knowledge base on low docs, the questions that someone would ask on a low doc, and put that into their website. So it's not only just good SEO pieces of content, but when we add the chatbot in there, if someone goes, I'm looking to understand a little bit more about low doc, it can come out and pull out that particular data. There are tools that you can use, such as VoiceFlow or BotPress. Even Go High Level has a really good chatbot in there that can do some of these types of things. You can choose your own and have this chatbot, generate answers based on your website intelligence. Generative AI, on the other hand, it is taking your written text and transforming it into something else. So we kind of gave an example earlier with, the best interest in having that, fed through and recrafted into another piece of text or content. That is also generative AI, but it also is a text to image or a text to video type tool. So you can write these for example, inside of Nana Banana, which is my favorite way to use Google AI imaging. And just as an FYI, make sure if you are going to use Nana Banana, that you go through the Google lab links, because there is a site out there called Nana Banana and it makes you pay, and it's not the genuine one. So just make sure you double check the links and that it is from Google. Anyway, coming back to what it does is you can describe the image you want. I often use it for my blog post images. I'll say, this is the topic, this is what we're talking about, please create a blog post image, and boom, a picture comes up. I then either give it feedback, have it readjusted, and then, hopefully it fixes it correctly, and then you can download it and add it to your website. That is generative AI. So ultimately, I've obviously covered quite a few areas of AI, how AI can be used within your business. The key difference between what we would call an automative AI versus an AI intelligence. But I know that there are a lot of questions out there by brokers about AI and how best to use it in their business. And so I would love to hear from you and let me know so I can create better videos, because I've just given you a general overview of the difference between AI in your software, AI in your business, and how to use it as a workflow management system. But there are so many ways I can take it, and I just want to make sure I'm giving you the right information at the right time, because obviously it's overwhelming. But the whole goal of any AI in your system should be 3 key things. And that is, does it reduce your mental load? Does it speed up your processes in service and delivery? And can it save you time and energy managing any of your compliance duties? If it fits all those requirements, then go ahead, use it. If you get confused or not sure what you should do next, then reach out. Because I love talking AI. I love simplifying AI. I also enjoy making sure that people don't get misled by someone using what I call fake AI analogies and saying that their software is AI, when really I think of it more like a AI automation, which is not true AI. Anyway, that's just me having a little whinge. But again, I could live and breathe all of this stuff. AI, generally speaking, if I was to say something clearly for how you should use it, is think about your day and what would make it easier, better, and faster to move through it. If it can do that for you, then do that. If you don't know where to start, reach out. Thank you.